Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Raid. And we've hit a lull here in the offseason where the rapid fire news of the transfer portal and early signing day is behind us. We're still weeks away from spring ball, so what is there really to talk about beyond speculation and superlatives? Well, one thing we can start talking about is our now former Badgers as they transition to the next phase of their football careers as they prepare for the NFL draft. One such player is Mason Reiger. He came to Madison with both expectations and question marks due to his frame, his motor, and the fact that he was coming off a major injury. But he certainly left a mark on this team and on the much improved Badgers defense. So today what I have for you is a collection of clips from various defensive breakdowns throughout the season in hopes that it reminds us Badger fans of the special player that we had. And for those of you discovering Mason for the first time through the draft prep process season, I hope you find a well-rounded player that is more than just a situational pass rusher. Word of warning, as this video is made up of clips from various defensive breakdowns throughout the Wisconsin football season in 2025. There's going to be times where I'm not speaking about Mason specifically, but I figure you're all savvy enough football fans to find number 22 on the field, follow his impact, and see how he fits into the overall defense. All right, I think that's enough of an intro. Let's get into the film and take a look at the type of player that Mason Reiger is and potentially what he has to offer at the next level. Again in their 3-down look. Mason Reiger with his hand in the dirt here. 2-4 personnel with Terrence Fearbury in the game for the first time, or at least on film anyways. All right, so just a zone read, and I really like with Mason Reiger, he is aggressive, but he is fundamentally sound. This is really good positioning here where he gets across the line of scrimmage and he squeezes. He's controlling the outside shoulder of the QB, and then once the mesh is complete, he tracks down the line and takes care of the ball carrier. Looking at it from the box angle, so we just talked about Reiger. As we across, squeeze, keeping his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage. That is good fundamental football. Really good fundamental football here. And we'll see it again. Squeeze, and a nice job there. Defensive tackles, focusing on, again, controlling the line of scrimmage. I'd like to see Ben Barton not tilt his hip too much, work more at a steering wheel. That guard, but he at least maintains his position in the line of scrimmage. Same thing with Brandon Lane. And when you have defensive tackles who can maintain the line of scrimmage, it really does a lot to help the linebackers over the top. Also, as we're seeing here, because Mason Reiger does a good job on the edge, that allows our linebackers to flow downhill and get into the fit. We don't have to worry about the quarterback coming out the backside and worry about the linebackers having to get across. So in a situation like this, you're going to see the ability of Christian Allegro to get downhill here, and then you get a situation where Tackett Curtis could get outside. So we have all the gaps covered, but because we get such a good squeeze from our outside linebacker, defensive end, whatever we're going to call him, when he's got his hand in the dirt, we stop this play. So nice overall rep by the Badgers defense. Again, later in the second quarter, 3rd and 4. And this is the first example I want to show you of a nice little package of pressures that they came up with out of the double mug look. So double mug means we're going to set up the 2 inside backers up, showing blitz. We got our defensive tackles and 3 techs or slightly wider. And what we're doing here is we're using the threat of this double mug look to manipulate how this front sets up their pressure, or sorry, sets up their protection. And so what we're going to see here is the threat's there, but we drop out. So right there, we're going to put that in our back pocket for later. So what do? They full slide away from the running back, which is what everyone should do. I mean, that's the way you do it. And
we're going to isolate a pass rusher on a running back. Okay. Now, Mason Reiger, just the motor is what gets them here. But what causes the pressure really is what creates the time to create this pressure. Obviously, Reiger does a good job beating his man. But with a look like this, to Finn, it looks like we're bringing 6 and we're dropping 7 in coverage. Excuse me. So, the famous Sam Darnold, I'm seeing ghosts. This is a situation like that where we give the pressure look, but we drop out. Coverage wise, super solid. And again, we're playing off. This is more of a man situation right here. And we give the pressure look and we're able to sit out in coverage, and it's a nice job of the inside backers sitting underneath where the hot read would be. So obviously the hot read would be right here. We do a really nice job. I believe that's Matt Young just bullying this number 3 receiver. Both DBs at the top of the screen lock on really strong there, and Amelia guard at the bottom of the screen. So a great coverage rep set up by the pressure look, and then we take the time, because we create so much time, we finish the rush rep. And let's look at everybody else here. All right, so like we said, they are going to run a full slide. So we're going to go here, 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 here. We're committed. And then we've got the running back here. We have the bodies to pick up what we want. But because Curtis and Allegro drop out, now we get a situation where we're going to get 2 blockers who have nobody to block. Now, they get involved here in helping on the inside a little bit, but by then it's kind of too late. Reiger gets free. Okay, we get a good pass rush. We see Sebastian Cheeks at the top of the screen. He's going to win that matchup with the running back all day, but it's all setting up the pressure for later. Brandon Lane also, love the rep. Really nice to see Brandon Lane in this game. He is going to be a force on the inside. Big body, but he just gets underneath, maintains. He's got his motor, creates separation, and he gets involved too.
All right, 3rd and 10. Okay, they're in that cycle look again. Okay, getting some pressure, and we finish it. All right, this is good to see. I mean, they are only rushing 4 or dropping 7 into coverage. Kind of getting 2 high, 3 high. Hey, this is really good route distribution here. And we're looking at our progression. He wants to go 1 to 2, back to 3. That's a long progression, but we do a good job of pressuring the number 1 route at the top of the screen. Okay, I believe that's Deani Hill. Okay, we high-low the crosser. Okay, the curl, maybe he's going to be there, but he's going to have to throw a long throw over Jameer Latimer and under Matt Young. So, but the pressure gets there regardless. Again, to anyone who says the defense is playing uninspired, I hate that term. They may not be playing good, but they are still getting after it. Okay. It's a great push, and then just the effort by Mason Reiger gets us home. You need the 3rd level guys to be able to fill correctly from there. All right, so Michigan comes out 3-by-1 now. There we get some pressure. And that was the difference. This is very similar to that previous blitz. It's the same thing we did earlier, just going to the other side. But now we have every gap covered. And every gap is covered, so when he steps up,
and then Javier Suggs, every gap is covered, and then Javier Suggs slips a block, and we're able to finish. That was missing on the previous scramble. It's the same blitz, but this time we shed a block. And I think even if Suggs doesn't shed this block, I think Reiger's right there, and probably, yeah, I think, yeah, for sure Reiger would have been there. So great ref from Deep. This is learning from previous mistakes. Guarantee they talked about it when that series ended. We get there. All right, and that ends that series. So 10-7 still, midway through the third. Great slip by Mason Reiger. I've been saying all year, and I'm really glad that he's staying healthy, knock on wood, but he's a real solid all-around edge player. Gets his hands up, shed, good body position, and we just kill it. The run fit everybody else, I actually think, is pretty solid here. I think we're in position to bounce it, and we can fill from the outside, but Reiger making the individual effort kills this play. All right, here we go. Next one. All right, an interesting little reverse here. I got to make that tackle. I mean, we're in good position. You know, all the praise I've been giving Mason Reiger this year, stay on your feet. Like I get he's trying to do, wrap up the legs, alligator roll, but just stay on your feet. Drive through the tackle. Hey, Latimer's chasing from behind. He's trying to get as deep as the deepest. That little stutter step doesn't help him. Hey, also, I mean, we get a little bit of a block in the back, a little bit of hold right there, maybe, but we turn a potential big loss in a 2nd and 8 situation into a pretty decent gain with a missed tackle.
So 7-yard gain, 2nd and 3. Okay, same personnel group. Okay, wide zone with the read. Okay, Mason Reiger getting a little deep. You know, maybe he's expecting to be able to do that with Posa playing a little bit wider after we get the motion. You know, I like that he squeezes Reiger. I mean, but you squeeze, you can get a little bit of depth, and he kind of takes a little bit too far inside, just enough to give the edge. And it's a little thing, but like I said, it's plays like this that force defenders and defenses to have to account for the QB in the run game, and you don't have to do it often to make it useful. Okay, interior wise, you know, Barton, as has kind of been said, you can really tell the difference here between Suggs and Barton. You know, Suggs is really arresting the movement of this double team. He's sinking his hips down and he's controlling it. Barton is getting taken for a ride because he's too high, and it's real easy then for this tackle. You know, he's probably he would normally be looking to slingshot here, but right now he's just walling him off because he got so far inside. So, all right, 3rd and 2 though. Really great situation for Washington. They could do a lot of things, but we get lucky here where I think Washington's center snaps us a little quick, and kind of the rest of his offensive line is definitely not ready. But again, I've been singing his praises all year, but Mason Reiger doing some great technique work on the wrong arm to dig underneath this split flow. Okay, here either he spills it back out and Post is sitting right there, or he boxes it in and he goes to where we have numbers. 3rd and 8. Okay, Oregon is in a 3-by-1 look.
get post up on the line. And then he's basically playing spy. He's going to show, he's going to sit, and he's going to be watching the QB on the backside. And what this does, it's a great little movement here, is this allows Corey Walker to get the guard one-on-one. Getting the guard one-on-one means the movement we've got here between Suggs and Reiger means the center's not going to get help. The center doesn't get help. That's where Reiger comes in. And because Posa is spying, he's sitting right there waiting for the QB. This is really nice defensive play design. Okay, really nice play design. So you get the takeoff and then settle. Once he reads pass, he might even be spying the running back as well. That allows, and you can kind of see it's just setting the edge wider. That allows Corey Walker to work off the edge here. Get this guard in a kick step. We do that, and that allows the stunt here to work how it does. It is nice play design. It is a way that you can get pressure with 4. And really, it's only 3 because Cheeks is kind of doing the same thing. He's just on QB spy. They get great pressure up the middle to spill it. And when you spill it right into the hands of your spy. And you get the same, you're going to have the same thing over here with Cheeks, that if you spilled the other way, he'd be right there. 1st and 10. Okay, so we got motion into kind of a split flow, but more, we're just going to run off, not really running RPO action on the backside here. Okay, Reiger, good extension. Ben Barton getting low and digging through the double team. Love seeing that. Then we get Cheeks setting the edge, being the force player. We get this really through the interior here. Okay, Barton digging underneath, gets a double team, putting pressure against. So when he comes out, hey, this is how you beat a double team. You are working against the player that you either your gap or your key. Okay, working here. When he feels the double team, wants to turn his hip to it and sink. Now he doesn't sink that much. Kind of hard to when you're going away, but he turns his hip to it. And that allows him, once we get a release here to Catalano, to just continue down the line. And now he's in a great position. Okay, Brandon Lane. You can't single block him in a situation like this, because he almost creates a secondary edge where we just got a wall right here, and you force the running back to cut into nothing. And as per usual, great violent hands by Reiger. Just great overall defensive effort. 3rd and 7. 2x2. Gonna get a false start. Can't see who it's on. Yeah, doesn't matter. Hold on, 3rd and 12. 19-yard line. 3x2. Empty. Gonna stay empty. Man, the pass rush is relentless.
get the turnover. Yeah. Only bringing 4. Now let's look at the box. Love the design of this pressure. All right, so we get this kind of 5-man surface. We've been seeing this a lot this season. Okay, Catalano's coming down, but he's going to drop right away. He's going to wall off the tight end, make him go outside. Okay, going to trade with Suggs and Posa and Reiger. Okay, it's almost like they're running a power play on offense. Reiger, an inside move on these tackles is just, it's all day. Posa, relentless energy. We get the strip. We get the recovery. So it is what it is. All right. So we got 2:49 left. 1st and 10 at the 20. Okay. Motion to the split flow. Suggs doing a pretty good job pushing this wide. He plays with such good pad level for being as long as he is. Barton too high. And then Reiger squeeze. Okay. Slow play. Make sure it's handed off. Now we run down the line. That's a good job. That's a really good job. And you could tell by his body language, it can be tough. But, literally, he's aggressive with that first step, and now he's squeezing. And then you see linebacker is ready to push over the top. So he's there for Allmeyer, which means Reiger even more has to be able to slow play and then squeeze. Because we want him to hand the ball off. We want him to hand it off. We do a pretty good job. Daryl Peterson, stop spinning on run reps. Stop spinning on run plays. Okay, Posa getting downhill, taking on the guard. Okay, kind of becoming an edge player here. Because he's scrape exchanging off of here. We lose the edge, he's got to be able to come get it or to fill. All right. Overall, pretty solid defensive rep. Now, Allmeyer has had some good throws in this game. No doubt about it. But doesn't lead to anything. Now, also doesn't hurt that we get a holding penalty. So it's 3rd and 15. Three by one, nub. They're only going to send 3 in the pattern. Badgers only bring 6. Illinois protects with 7. And this can be the issue. If you can't pass protect, then it doesn't matter how many people you keep in. And now you've got 5 on 3. Nobody's going to get open. And Mason Reiger, that's just speed. That is just speed around the edge. I'm going to miss him. He was really fun to watch this year. And I hope he ends up having a nice career in the National Football League because I think he has earned it. Because he is a really solid all-around edge player. And you can't block him with a tight end. So Illinois full slides to Cheeks, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And yeah, you get 4 other offensive linemen trying to block Cheeks and who's the D tackle? That's Brandon Lane. And then you leave a half-ass attempt by a running back and a bad rep by a tight end. This, again, watch Mason Reiger here. And kind of watch the difference between how he attacks this pass rush and how Darrell Peterson does. Both have very different approaches. Okay? Gets around and, he's working into the QB. And that's a better job by Darrell Peterson. Usually with Darrell Peterson, he'd be working the opposite of what am I doing there? I don't need Huddle to do that for me. Thank you. He usually is going to be the one who gets too deep in a situation like this. Reiger would be pushing through here to force a step up, which is what we get. And he causes Altmaier here to double clutch. And again, I'm not Illinois' QB coach, but this little chicken wings shit. One, it's a great way to get your wrist broken as a QB, but you're just giving them a target. But 4th and 5 now, 7 minutes left. Big stop here because minimum, when you think about a situation like this, unless Illinois is going to take all their timeouts, we stop them here, we get the ball back, we run 3 plays, and we punt. It's going to take 2 minutes off the clock. So, condensed, sticks and corners, and the fact that we can bring pressure with 4 and we drop out one of the edge guys, Mason Reiger, and that confuses Altmaier. And that takes away where he wants to go. But he wants to throw the ball here at the sticks, and Reiger's sitting right there. And then Posa just finishes it. We get the slant, and you get Posa on a running back. Good luck with that. Boom. Drive him straight back into the QB. But again, great coverage and the perfect time to drop Reiger out in coverage. Because you take away the number one option that Altmaier has in this situation. By doing that, you allow the inside linebacker who's not blitzing to just sit right here and take away the second option. And then we can just distribute the routes over the top. You don't want to give up a late touchdown to kind of change. You have the score give a different perception of how this game actually ended up. But really great jump here by Reiger. Good angle. Just got to stay on his feet. And he gets helped by the tackle. Guarantee he's going to try to claim a pancake on that. Altmaier has made throws throughout this game. And he's made a lot of almost throws in really awkward situations. Great job. And then you got Reiger there to clean up.